It's Monday, June 30th. In the headlines, Senate passes tough amendments to the perennial larceny law. Social Development Commission invests $61 million to boost grassroots businesses. In business news, Barita raises the largest bond offer in Jamaica Stock Exchange's history. Regionally, Guyana opens first mental health court. And in sports, some results from the National Junior and Senior Championships. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The Senate has passed tough new amendments to the Perennial Larceny Prevention Act, designed to crack down on the theft of crops, livestock, and fish. The changes come as part of a broader push to protect Jamaica's growing agriculture and aquaculture sectors. On Friday, while piloting the bill, Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith said the legislation supports a new era in food security, driven by the government's face and food strategy.
Interestingly, Mr. President, as I prepared for this debate, I came across the report that according to the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce's Business and Consumer Index survey for the first quarter of this year, 66% of persons surveyed said that they were interested in exploring the sector. 66%. That's a strong sign that farming is gaining new respect, renewed respect, as a serious and rewarding venture.
Senator Johnson-Smith credited a number of government-backed initiatives for revitalizing the farming sector. From a $1 billion annual boost through the National Production and Productivity Program, to the rehabilitation of over 400 farm roads and training more than 8,000 young people under the Youth in Agriculture program. But despite the progress, she said perennial larceny remains a major roadblock. A key part of the government's response is the introduction of agricultural wardens.
243 candidates have already successfully completed their written exams, physical assessments, background checks, and fingerprinting, and they are now awaiting their medical exams to be included in the program, Mr. President. We have a training schedule, and we have already identified a training location, and we will welcome our first wardens this very year.
The changes will also stiffen penalties under laws like the Trespass Act and the Malicious Injuries to Property Act. New offenses such as robbery, receiving stolen farm goods, and even setting fire to crops will now fall under the expanded powers of enforcement,
enabling them to enforce provisions under related legislation, including under the Agricultural Produce Act and the Animal Diseases and Importations, Marking of Bovine Animals regulations. The amendments will not only address the harsher penalties, but they will address the enhanced traceability of agricultural produce, which is an important part as we have moved into JACRA regime, where we actually look at geographical indicators. We want to make sure that our coffee, our cocoa, our coconuts, and others, the turmeric, the spices, that everything is looked at and can be traced to where it is from.
The government hopes this move will protect livelihoods and encourage more Jamaicans to invest in the land. More than $61 million has been pumped into small businesses across Jamaica through the Social Development Commission's Local Economic Development and Special Entrepreneurship Grant programs. Speaking at a recent JIS think tank, the agency says the support is helping grassroots entrepreneurs grow and formalize their businesses, with more grants on the way. The details in this report from Danita Rodney.
From street-side stalls to small workshops, grassroots entrepreneurs across Jamaica are reaping the benefits of over $61 million in grant funding, thanks to the Social Development Commission's push to grow community-based businesses. Speaking last week at a Jamaica Information Service think tank, SDC's Director of Local Economic Development, Avril Ranger, explained that the LED grant is a competitive program supporting local ventures with strong growth potential.
They would have been able to produce their business models, their business plans to the assessment committee. They would be able to advocate and advance how they have moved their business from pretty much obscurity to something that is now known and being, promoting itself. We will also have them, do a slight, we might contact them for a slight pitch.
Ms. Ranger explained that the Special Entrepreneurship Grant is aimed at individuals running small, often informal businesses who may not yet have the resources or capacity to access more formal funding opportunities.
Through the community development committees, the parish development committees, our members of parliament, we identify people who are in desperate need to ask for assistance, a small amount of grant that could assist them to pivot their business to the next level. So that grant just started in 2022. And so far, we have given over 1,021 persons this support in this area, valuing $46.6 million. Additionally, for the SDC Lent grant, we have issued 134 and 15.1 million in grant to support grassroots-based businesses to advance their business and also to assist them as it relates to areas of marketing, providing them with an opportunity to get actually other skill sets that they might need to advance and to pivot their businesses.
She further noted that 238 entrepreneurship grants are being processed for 2025 and will soon be handed over to beneficiaries.
Additionally, as I mentioned, the database is a robust one. We can tell you the number of females employed, the number of males, the number of youth employed per local economic initiative. We can tell you, as I mentioned, the earnings for them for the quarter. And certainly, as it relates to one of the areas that we were really pushing this year is the Special Entrep Grant, so that we can assist over 1,007 persons. And we are actually started because 238 are being processed now as we speak for handing out shortly to these persons to assist them.
The program seeks to promote inclusive growth by supporting underserved communities and strengthening resilient, locally driven economies. Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I am Danita Rodney.
More retirees will soon be able to cash in on energy savings thanks to a major policy change at the National Housing Trust, the NHT. Starting July 1, the NHT's Smart Energy Grant will be available to private sector pensioners for the first time. Launched in 2024, the grant offers up to $1.5 million for renewable energy solutions like solar panels and rainwater harvesting systems. Until now, the program was limited to public sector pensioners earning under $30,000 a week at retirement. Representatives from the NHT shared the details in a JIS think tank.
And so now it's just pensioners who earn less than $30,000 per week at the time of retirement. They are now able to qualify for this grant of $1.5 million to invest in renewable energy technology, whether that is solar panels, or perhaps they want to invest in rainwater harvesting systems, or both if the funds can stretch to allow you to do that.
Each year, 420 retirees across Jamaica will receive grants, with 30 selected from each parish. Time now for the Business Report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, here to bring you the stories shaping the financial world and guiding your journey to smarter business decisions. Let's dive into the top headlines. Jamaica's bond market has been dominated by the recent listing from Barita Investments. Last week, Barita listed its bonds on the bond market of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. The transaction raised $7.94 billion, making it the largest bond listing of 2025 and Barita's 8th offering on the exchange. Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, emphasized the transaction's broader market impact, and she quotes, "These 7 tranches bring our new listings for the year to 14, just 1 shy of our target, and the total number of listed securities on the stock exchange to 161. She continues, "With this raise, we've mobilized $21.68 billion in capital via IPOs for the year, significantly outpacing our $25 billion target." Dr. Street Forrest also encouraged greater engagement with the exchange's newest platform, the micro market, designed to introduce fresh investment opportunities to Jamaica's over 380,000 account holders and fostering a broader ownership and wealth creation culture. International hospitality group MGM Matthew will launch into the Jamaican market with the opening of Grand Matthew Club Caribbean Runaway Bay in St. Anne on August 1, 2025. The hotel's debut in Jamaica follows the acquisition of the property from Decameron All-Inclusive Hotels and Resorts, which ceases operation on July 31 for an undisclosed sum. In a notice on LinkedIn posted Tuesday, June 24, MGM Matthew shared, "We're thrilled to announce the latest jewel in our Caribbean crown. The Grand Matthew Club Caribbean Runaway Bay, Jamaica will officially open on August 1st. The MGM Group of companies, founded by Dr. M.G. Matthew in 1963, is one of Europe's leading hospitality chains. It has 50 hotels across Portugal, Spain, France, Cuba, Kenya, England, Scotland, India, and now Jamaica." For the trading period ending June 27, 2025, these were the most actively traded stocks. Online education provider One-on-One Educational Services Limited, with 5,233,175 units traded, representing 15.29% of market sales volume. Investment house Sagicor Select Funds Limited Financial, with 3,769,747 units traded, representing 11.01% of market sales volume. Toll road operator Trans-Jamaica Highway Limited US dollar shares, with 3,395,785 units traded, representing 9.92% of market sales volume. We now shift our focus to the Forex market rate set by the Bank of Jamaica. On June 27, 2025, the Bank of Jamaica reported US $94.59 million purchased and US $101.67 million sold by Forex traders. Forex traders earned $1.10 per dollar, selling the US at $160.82 and buying the US at $159.72. The Canadian dollar netted Forex traders 50 cents per transaction, with selling at $118.24 and buying at $117.74. The British pound yielded Forex traders $1.71 in profits, with selling at $219.78 and buying at $218.07. For our credit report tip of the day, imagine waking up tomorrow with the confidence that every swipe of your credit card, every point you earn, is a step towards your dreams. What would that feel like? For decades, I've seen people leave hundreds, even thousands of dollars on the table simply because they didn't realize the power resting quietly in their credit score. So today I want to share with you a few transformational ways a strong credit score opens the door to premium credit card perks and how you can harness them to fuel your abundance. First, know that the limits you set are the box you live in, so break out. With a high credit score, issuers trust you, and trust means higher limits. That extra room lowers your utilization and turbocharges your score even more. Next, every dollar you spend is a seed. Gourmet coffee, grocery, business supplies. With the right credit card, they all give you back 1 to 5% of what you spent. So reinvest those rewards and watch them grow. And that wraps up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, reminding you that every financial decision is a step toward your future. Until next time, stay focused, informed, and keep striving for success. See you soon.
In regional news, a groundbreaking step for Guyana's justice system. Officials have launched the country's first mental health court, marking what they call a new era in how the nation responds to mental illness within the legal system. The pilot initiative aims to shift the focus from punishment to treatment, recognizing that those living with mental illness and intellectual disabilities deserve care, dignity, and access to justice, not criminalization.
The piloting of this court is not just the beginning of a new judicial process, it is truly the start of a new era in how this country responds to the intersection of mental health and justice with compassion, dignity, and hope. UNICEF stands proud with the government and all its partners on this momentous occasion, and we are honored to have provided technical assistance and funding to help make this court a reality and to support the broader vision of a justice system that is truly inclusive, rehabilitative, and child-sensitive. This mental health court represents an important step forward in ensuring access to justice for all, and particularly for persons with mental health illnesses and intellectual disabilities, which is in line with Guyana's Mental Health Protection and Promotion Act of 2022. So this code is significant as it will recognize the complex intersection of mental illness, intellectual abilities, and criminal behavior. And by adopting a therapeutic jurisprudence model, it will transform the legal system into a real tool, not just for correction, but for healing and rehabilitation.
This launch represents a major step forward in our country's efforts to address mental health in a humane, evidence-based, and human rights-based and integrated manner. The mental health court is not just a courtroom, it's a vision, one that recognizes that mental health or mental health illnesses should be met with treatment, not punishment. I'm deeply encouraged by this initiative that recognizes a long overlooked truth. Mental illness is not a crime, and those who suffer from it deserve care, not punishment. The establishment of the mental health court is a critical recognition that health and justice are deeply intertwined. It signals a shift from stigmatization to support, from incarceration to intervention, and from marginalization to meaningful reintegration.
I began by recognizing that this court establishes a fact that we have matured significantly as a society. In common parlance, those persons have been referred to as mad, crazy, or insane, and their mental condition grossly misunderstood. Today, our society has made great strides in recognizing that every person in Guyana must have their human rights protected and respected, and in this case, the right to health. There is still much to be done, as upholding human rights in mental health care is of utmost importance if our society is to develop in the direction we hope. Within the mental health care context, access to justice is critical to ensure that those living with mental illness have their voices heard, can exercise their rights, challenge discrimination, and overall ensure their full and effective role as participants in legal proceedings.
Antigua and Barbuda is receiving plaudits from across the Americas for its historic hosting of the 55th regular session of the Organization of American States General Assembly. The event concluded at the American University of Antigua Friday evening. The country hosted some 2,000 delegates from the hemisphere, with diplomats and others singing the country's praises. Garfield Burford reports.
Enthusiastic applause and a standing ovation from delegations at the AUA Convention Center for the volunteers at the event as the General Assembly came to a close on Friday evening. Antigua and Barbuda's first ever hosting of the event has been hailed a success.
Let me, as a absolute final word, extend my profoundest appreciation and thanks to my team in Washington, D.C., led by Ambassador Ronald Saunders. They were the backbone of this project, and Ambassador, to you and your team, abiding appreciation and thanks for all the hard work that was put into making this project, the hosting of the 55th Assembly, a success. I thank you.
I spoke with Antigua and Barbuda's permanent representative to the OAS, Sir Ronald Sanders, on Saturday afternoon.
This was a team effort. I remind everybody of how it started. Started with Gaston Brown calling me and saying, we want to get this done. Prime Minister gives me an instruction, I carry it out to the best of my ability, and I will work to get it done. We got it done. We came here, we had a very successful conference. There was not a single complaint from any delegate about anything that happened here, and it was all praise.
Sir Ronald says the preparatory work by Mission in Washington and the local logistical team and volunteers ensured the General Assembly was a success. Ambassador Anthony Liverpool led the local coordination efforts in Antigua and Barbuda, supported by several individuals and agencies.
They did a fantastic job. On a daily basis, they were in touch with the US Secretariat people who were working on that end, on the logistical part of this. But so many other people put an effort into making sure that this conference worked. And at the end of it, it did, like clockwork.
There's also a commendation from the OAS Secretary General Albert Ramdin, a historic General Assembly for him as well, with this being the first since he became the first CARICOM national to assume that post.
I want to start by congratulating Antigua and Barbuda for going and doing the utmost to make this General Assembly not only a successful one, but one which was and is well organized, and we have not had glitches of any kind over the past 2 days. That in itself tells a lot about the capability of Antigua and Barbuda, a small Caribbean nation, to host such a large event.
Senior United States diplomat in the Bureau of Western Hemisphere Affairs, Ambassador Michael Kozak, is also applauding the government of Antigua and Barbuda for the hosting of the General Assembly.
Wonderful, just wonderful host. The arrangements couldn't have been better. Everything went smoothly. And I've been at a few OAS events where they didn't go smoothly or hosted by other countries. So this was a real kudos to the government for that organization. It was really well done.
In sports, we speed off with athletics as we have some results from the National Junior and Senior Championships at the National Stadium held over the weekend. Tina Clayton was crowned a national champion after she stopped the clock at 10.81 seconds to win the women's 100 meters. Sharika Jackson was second with 10.88, while sprint queen Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price raced to 10.91 seconds for third place. Olympic Games finalists Megan Tapper and Orlando Bennett won the respective sprint hurdles titles on Sunday. Megan Tapper, the Tokyo Olympic Games bronze medalist in 2021, won her fourth national senior title. She led from the start, clocking a personal best of 12.34 seconds. national record holder and last year's champion, Akira Nugent, was second in 12.41, with Amoy Brown third with 12.67. All three are to join Daniel Williams on the team to the World Championships. Williams has a bye to Tokyo by virtue of being the defending champion. Orlando Bennett won the men's 110-meter hurdles title, running a season's best 13.10 seconds for his first national senior title. Sanjay Seymour delivered on his promise as he won the under-20 boys 200 meters title on Sunday, running 20.85 seconds to win the event. Sabrina Dockery completed the girls' under-20 sprint double after she won the 200 meters in 23.46 seconds, followed by two athletes from Immaculate Conception, Samoya Brown, 23.87 seconds, and Chevy Ann Shim, 24.80 seconds. Over to football. On Sunday, the Reggae Girls received a 7-0 hammering from England in their international friendly at the King Power Stadium in England. Reggae Girls head coach Hubert Busby Jr. says his team was found wanting defensively, but believes there were positives to take away. Coach Busby Jr. says they had some good moments in transition and showed marked improvements on attacking set plays. They did put the ball in the net in the 21st minute, but it was called back for offside. And that's it for the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thank you so much for watching.